Hello everyone and welcome back to a professional match of StarCraft 2. Now yesterday I posted a poll on the YouTube community tab asking you what your favorite matchup in StarCraft 2 is. Now truth be told, I kind of expected Zerg versus Terran to win just because I've asked this question before during, for example, my Twitch live stream, and a lot of people have always said ZVT is fantastic, and I actually agree with them. It's also my personal favorite, but I didn't expect it to win by this much. Now, maybe the results will still change over the course of the next couple of days, but there's no denying that apparently ZVT is a popular matchup. Now, because of that, I figured today, since it's actually been a little bit, let us have a look at a best-of-3 series of top-level Terran versus Zerg. I mean, it doesn't really get much higher level than these two players. And even though I featured the Zerg player in yesterday's video, I mean, his name is, by the way, Rogue. He's a top-tier player. It doesn't really get much better than him. I mean, there's an argument to be made for example, like a, I don't know, like a Dark from South Korea being a little bit better, but it's gonna be really, really close. Both Rogue and Dark are insanely good. His opponent, though, playing with the Red Terran SCVs, he goes by the name of Cure. Cure, of course, also a top-tier Korean Terran player. Maybe Maru is a little bit higher ranked than him right now, but, I mean, yeah. If you watch StarCraft 2 regularly, you're probably familiar with the fact that these players are insanely good. Now, Rogue is being, very thorough right here. Apparently, he does not want to get cheesed. Both of the Overlords are scouting for proxies, and then even a drone went around the map as well, just to make sure that there is no shenanigans happening anywhere. Now, obviously, these two are teammates, so as you may have already noticed, they're both rocking that DPG clan tag, so that's Dragon Phoenix Gaming. Which bothers me a little bit, because, I mean, it's Dragon Phoenix Gaming, and it's DPG, even though, like, Phoenix is kind of pronounced with an F. Anyways, that's just a little bit of food for thought. DFG. Maybe that's... No, that doesn't really work either. Anyways, so they're both obviously on the same team. Maybe that means, I don't know, that they practice against each other regularly as well. They certainly do face off against each other in tournaments all the time. So they definitely have a history. And maybe because of that, Rogue is like, you know what? In the practice games, you've been cheesing me over and over and over again. Or maybe in the practice games, you notice that I'm not very good against that sort of cheese. I'm just going to make sure that it's not happening, or at the very least that I catch it early. First Reaper has already made its way across the map, unsurprisingly. It's the standard unit to get first. Interestingly enough, Rogue is getting 4 Zerglings here, whereas Dark, I mean the other top tier... Oh, actually, no, he did get 6. Look at the micro here, by the way, on the links. Alright, interesting actually. Okay, so both Rogue and Dark are currently getting 6 Zerglings in the early game of ZVT. Whereas... No, that's way too greedy. He wanted to get that Tumor though. Whereas like Cyril and Raynor, for example, they're getting their 4 Zerglings out early. I've got a feeling though, if they would have gone for 4 here, Rogue probably would have lost like 3 of 4 Zerglings. This way, he at the very least kept all of them alive, buying a little bit of time until Brenda over here popped out of the hatchery. Where's Karen? Is she here? There she is. Karen was apparently guarding the little jump-up pad right over there. Just making sure that the Reaper doesn't get into the main base for free. Maybe a little bit overly ambitious. That was very close, but it worked out just barely. You're going for a standard 1-1-1. Quick second gas inside of the main base. He's going for a 3rd command center a little bit later. Probably will pop that down around, I don't know, 4 minutes or so. Usually 4 minutes and 10, 4 minutes and 20 or so. We did have a quick 3 hatch opener right here from the Zerg player. He wishes he had command centers. That does mean that link speed is very late. And you know what? These first 2 Hellions? I mean, they get surrounded. At least one of them gets surrounded right there by drones. I'm conflicted about this, okay? So, obviously, it's 2 Hellions and a Reaper going down. And 6 drones were killed. Now, that is a net positive right there for the Terran player. The problem is that for the time being, right now, Terran's not going to be able to do a whole lot. Right? So, obviously, he can build up that Hellion count once again. And apparently, he's going to be going for the Cloaked Banshee follow-up too. So, he definitely has options to continue the pressure. But the problem is that, you know, with two less Hellions and then also a Reaper less, obviously you can't really get that much work done. So Rogue at this point is just simply heavily droning up. I mean, there are wants to get a couple Hellions. He hasn't added on any more Zerglings, playing a little bit greedy. I mean, he can definitely try and go for it again. No! This isn't supposed to happen. I mean, he's making more links right now, I'm sure, but only 6. Hello. He's going for a couple spores too, so at the very least he's got... Ooh! He's got the follow-up taken care of with the Banshees, but this is an awful lot of workers going down for this stage in the game. Did we at least get a lair? No lair either. No lair, no upgrades, no baneling nest, no nothing. That means that these Banshees, they can actually get some work done too. We're now at 19 workers killed in this game so far. We're only 5 minutes into it. Lair does come up, but that does mean that Rogue is not going to have any mobile detection until that thing is done and he goes for the Overseer. Alright. Show us how good your control is, Mr. Cure. So far, apparently, your Hellion control is fantastic. Can't believe that Rogue actually decided to sit on 6 Zerglings there the entire time. It's like, okay, well, I lost a couple drones. Let me try and play catch-up, I guess, and play a little bit greedy. Yep. So this is already pretty good. So there are Spore Crawlers, which are detectors as well in every base. And obviously, Terran didn't go for a very quick third command center. So, I mean, he needs to get some sort of damage done, is what I'm trying to get at, but so far that seems to be working out just fine. Will he get the Banshees out? Oh, he's even gonna get some more kills. Oh, okay. Loses one. He's actually... Oh, he's actually gonna give them up, yeah. So, he's trying to deny the third command center right now, but honestly, at this point, 27 workers. Now, obviously, all those units ended up going down, right? So... I mean, if you look at the resources lost tab, it doesn't really look that fantastic for the Terran player. But the truth is that, obviously, at this point, those workers that died, they would have all been mining, right? So there's a lot of potential lost mining time as well. Plus, Rogue, after already falling behind a little bit earlier, he really slowed down his tech. So he's going to go for a Spire right now. He's going to go for the Baneling Speed upgrade too. But there's no upgrades. There's nothing, right? So apparently here goes to Terran. Cure's like, wait a second. I've got Stimpack done. Combat Shield is, well, only like a third of the way done. Plus 1 infantry, weapons, and armor is going to finish up shortly too. I love this, putting the siege tank up on the high ground. Now, there is a Spire coming. So Mutalisks are going to be the follow-up, but that siege tank here on the high ground is having an absolute blast. Without high ground vision, hey, an absolute blast. Unintentional pun there. God, I'm so funny. He actually hits the supply block and makes 6 Overlord. That's a lot, man. Anyways, what was I saying? Oh, right, yeah, so without high ground vision, he can't actually kill those siege tanks. I love this as well, even though Cure, I don't think, has seen a Spire. No, he hasn't seen a Spire. He's expecting a Spire as a follow-up. So he's already got a couple of Marines right here guarding those siege tanks. I think what Rogue is trying to do right now is go for a counterattack. This makes a lot of sense, but there's plenty of Terran reinforcements ready to deal with that. And I'll probably pop out as many mutas as possible, so he's got 13. Pick off the siege tanks, and then go from there. Okay. Slow and steady wins the race right here. Rogue just trying to kill what... Or, sorry, Cure just trying to kill whatever he can. Here come the mutas, but... Yep, that group of Marines... making it pretty tricky. Baneling Speed is also done. With good control, though, he can still definitely get some damage done. Okay. Terran reinforcements ready to go across the map. There is already a missile turret over at the 3rd. This is a very important moment right here for Rogue. He needs to either smash back this army or get some eco damage done on the other side of the map. There's no 4th hatch. There's very little here in general. Okay, decides to try and just go after the Marines here that are guarding those siege tanks. Additional reinforcing Marines that are coming up. Siege tank number 1 falls. Siege tank number 2 falls as well. And the bio army over here gets pushed back. That being said, that was at the cost of all of the Links and Banes. So at this point, we are, 3 Zerglings in. No Banelings to be seen anywhere. He's going to try and morph in some new ones. Cure could definitely try and push here. Try and see if he can get some work done. Because of that additional hatchery lacking here, normally we're up to 5 hatches. Rogue doesn't have that much larva production, and now the mutas are getting picked off. He's hoping for a dream Baneling connection there, but beautiful control by Cure. Absolutely slapping Rogue right here in game number 1. Reinforcements are coming across the map as well. And that is all she wrote right here for Rogue. Okay, so what exactly ended up going wrong there for Rogue in game number 1? This is gonna be a little bit analytical, a little bit nerdy, so bear with me, okay? Take out your notepads, put on your glasses. We're going to Zerg school. So, broadly speaking, when it comes to the standard triple hatch opener for Zerg, there's 2 variations. First off, let's go over the classical one. So you go 16 supply hatchery, 18 supply gas geyser, 17 supply spawning pool. You mine 100 gas out of the gas geyser, then you pull 2 drones out. You go Zergling speed, you go 2 queens, you go 2 or 3 sets of Zerglings, and then you decide to go for the 3rd hatch, right? That's the one that people have been playing for a very long time. time. This allows you to finish up Zergling speed by the time that 2 Hellions can get across the map, and overall, it's very, very safe. However, sometimes the Reaper arrives, and it can block the third base from going up, and it's very annoying. It can basically prevent the third from being taken at the appropriate time. So apparently, by the way, Rogue is going to go for a 16 hatch. So 16 spawning pool right here, so I gotta hurry up. The second variant is you go 16 hatch, 18 gas, 17 pool. So the same start as with the first variant. However, rather than mining 100 gas, you pull 2 drones out at 60. One of the drones goes to the natural, just to mine minerals. And the second drone that you pull out at 60 gas goes on over to the third base. Turns out if you do it that way, you can start up the third hatchery before the Reaper can arrive on the other side of the map. Plus, with that 1 drone going back and forth, you can still finish up Zergling speed by the time that 4 Hellions can get to your side of the map. Now, what happened in the previous game is that Cure saw the timing of the third hatch. He knew that link speed, therefore, would be late. And even though there were 6 links out in total, he got a good shot off initially, and then he decided to jump into the mineral line. Rogue knew that he had to play some sort of catch-up after that, so he decided, you know what, I'm not going to make any additional links. I'm just going to, like, try and hold down the drone button, and then Cure got even more work done, and then the Banshees showed up, and yeah, it all kind of spiraled out of control. Did that make any sense? I hope so. It made sense in my head anyway. What do we have here? I think something that Rogue picked up on in game number 1. Let me actually set the scoreboard right there. I didn't even do that yet. Something Rogue probably picked up on right here in game number 1 is that apparently Cure is not going for an SCV scout. Meaning that at this point in the game, at least he's going for a Marine follow-up. This Reaper's gonna get across the map, see the timing of the hatchery, and he needs to go back home. He needs to go back home really badly. Okay. 1 Zergling right there working on the SCV that's building the command center. Marine is out, so at the very least, the main won't be harassed. Couple of boys pulled away as well from the mineral line. That Reaper really needs to come home. Okay, he decides to actually fight it with the SCVs. 1 worker ends up going down. 2nd worker goes down. 3rd worker goes down. 4th... No. 3 SCVs right here. Not bad whatsoever. Now, that's actually pretty good. Plus, there's still this one that was previously building the command center. That's apparently all the way on the other side. Command center is also delayed, although apparently Cure has looked at this. He's like, you know what? Maybe you're pushing me, but I'll just make another command center. What could possibly go wrong? I love this, actually, from Cure. Confidently plants down the 3rd CC regardless. Now, this could have been an absolute disaster, though, from Rogue. So, the standard thing that usually happens, right? So, once again, these players are cutting corners left, right, and center. The normal thing to do is, before you send out the Reaper, you actually send an SUV across the map just to see if the creep is done. If you can see, like, the little edge right here of creep, you know that it's a standard hatch first, and then the Reaper can go across the map safely as well. Cure decided to skip that in game number 1, decided to skip it in game number 2. Rogue picked up on it, decided to punish it with a 16 pool. Is it the end of the world? Not really. But it's certainly a nice start. Link speed has already finished up right now too, so no shenanigans. I mean, we are on Romanticide, so Romanticide in general is a relatively, you know, macro-focused map. It's easy to acquire multiple bases on it. We've seen a bunch of the Terran players recently, like for example Gumiho, but also Maru play mech on this map, which is cool. Wouldn't mind seeing that, but I mean, this is Cure. I don't remember seeing Cure play mech. I'm trying to think of it right now. Maybe he does play it from time to time, but pretty sure this man plays bio every game. But yeah, I don't really expect Cure to get a whole lot of work done on this particular map. With Hellions. He's still gonna go for 6 of them, apparently. Liberator is a follow-up after the Viking. Zergling right here patrolling back and forth to see any medivacs or something along those lines that could be leaving the natural expansion. Viking over here in the back. Just hunting for OVs, trying to get some work done. Really? It's an ambitious Viking. Yeah, gets a worker. There you go, get him. And he flies again. I mean, the thing is, repairing this guy back up to full HP is going to be as costly as that drone it killed. But, hey, at least it's, you know, it's about sending a message, right? It's about intimidation. So one advantage of having that Viking out right now is that Rogue is actually quite far back here with his OVs. So normally what Zerg players like to do if there's no Viking out is they will position the Overlords ahead of the creep. So there would be an overlord here, 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 right? You get the gist of it. Now all of a sudden, these Hellions, you know what? He did make 8 in total. They're getting some work done. Here I am talking about how it shouldn't happen on this map, but because of that one Viking, it kind of enabled this start. Nice work right there by Cure. Not getting that much work done this time around, but still pretty nice. Rook is going to scout out, sees the timing of the 3rd CC. Now he knows what he's going up against. Luckily for him, though, he already decided to go for the double Evo start, which is fantastic against what Cure is playing. Cure, by the way, is going to go for bio, so no mech transition from him. But double evolution chamber here rather than going for the lair. So after the triple hatch start, the standard follow-up is to go either lair into Baneling Nest or double upgrades into lair into Baneling Nest. Double upgrades obviously a little bit greedier. You're not going to have that lair done nearly as quickly. Baneling speed is going to be delayed. Overseers are going to be delayed as well, but at the very least it makes him yeah, much stronger in the mid game. Once again though, these Hellions are trying to get some work done. You know what? He's apparently content just grabbing some of the... Yeah, he knew that there would be Zerglings out, but he's apparently content just grabbing a couple of the creep tumors. Well, you know what? Apparently he wasn't. Yeah, Hellions are nice to have, but you don't necessarily need to keep them out for that long either. So you can start being a little bit brave, especially once you finish up this wall off. It's quite hard for the Zerg to counterattack anyway. Yeah, so look at the timing on that Baneling speed, right? It's quite late. Terran, though, after going triple CC, did go for the very quick double NG Bay as well. Armory starts up at the appropriate timing, so Cure can go straight into 2-2. That's probably the most common mistake I see from lower level Terran players, where they try to go 2-2, and that's the point they realize they need an Armory. That happens to everyone trying to learn Terran, but it really slows you down by like a good 40 seconds. He's trying to get the wraparound. Okay, most of the Hellions, I guess, will get picked off. And even though these traits are a little bit shaky for the Zerg, it's fine, because once again, he can keep droning here if he wants to. 5th hatch comes up. This was the majority of the army right there for the Terran player. He's got to go into Widow Mines right now, too. So Armory finishes. There you go, 2-2 starts. You gotta stay on top of it. Like, you can see right here, Cure is going to go up against a Zerg player who's going to finish up their Zerg upgrades really early on as well. If you fall behind in those upgrades, you're trading like Marines against... You're trading Marines against Zerglings. Since there's so many of them, there's a lot of units that benefit from those upgrades as well. It's important to keep it out and keep it going. Okay, so this Viking over here is having an absolute blast. One of those kills is a drone. But other than that, it's now got 4 kills, and I think it might go for a 5th. Bit of a misrally right there from Rogue. Yep. Good amount of overlords going down so far. OV speed apparently is going to be the defense. Cure is looking very strong, man. I'm very impressed by Cure this game so far. I mean, just again to reiterate, Rogue is one of the very best Zerg players in the world. And Cure so far seems to be a little bit stronger. Just, you know, cleaner overall. Not really dropping the ball anywhere. Very nice. Oh, even picks up the Widow Mine. He knew that an Overseer would be coming. Picks it up. I mean, it would have been even cooler if he dropped off one Marine to make room for another Widow Mine, but... Alright, fine. We'll allow it. Hive is coming up. Lurker Den coming up as well here for the Zerg. He did get 5 hatch up. Didn't really take a whole lot of eco damage. 4th CC is going to finish up here as well. Another Armory. So we're already going up to triple Armory. Very quick 3rd Armory. Or sorry, Factory. Very quick 3rd factory right there from the Terran player. Hydra's coming up. Oh, he's going into siege tanks now. Oh, I kind of like it. Okay. Very cool. He's going to be able to deny the Overseer as well, so that means these Widow Mines are going to be even more obnoxious. Either that or he needs to pull another Overseer. Yep. I don't think that trade's gonna happen, man. Yeah, Cure is 2 on point for it. It's not happening. Okay. 4th Command Center is gonna morph into a planetary. At this point, I don't think Rogue can really do a whole lot about it. I mean, he's trying to send up... look at this. These little armies, man. It's really nice. He's got, like, little forces ready to intercept Ling Run bys. I feel like Raynar would still be able to get Zerglings across, though. Anyways, 7 Lurkers coming up. Ranged upgrade coming up. Adrenal glands coming up. Rogue is very good in the late game, as I've mentioned many times before. So even though his early game right here may have been not as clean as he probably would have liked it to be as well, that point in the game is over. It doesn't matter. He didn't take damage. And even though the creep is probably not as far as he would have liked it to, and he's also not really that far out there on the map in general, he hasn't really done any counterattack damage. We've arrived at the late game, so all of that is negligible. There's a Nidus network coming up. There's already 7 Lurkers done. I see a cheeky little Overlord right here in the back of the main base. I wouldn't be surprised if the man decides to, oh my god, there's some huge Widowmine hits. Wouldn't be surprised if the man decides to get ambitious here in a second. 19 kills on his one Widowmine. Yep, there we go. Nidus network. Popping up a worm in the back. Okay. It's gonna be Lurkers inside of the worm, apparently. Is that a second Nidus network? It is. Second Nidus network. Okay, well, this one is probably not gonna get too much done. You know what? Still 3 Lurkers pop out. 4th one already was killed, or I guess technically the first. Links and Banes over here. Cure still paying attention, but does take some big hits to the face this time around. Liberators up in the air. They're gonna have an absolute blast. Taking down these Lurkers. There we go. A little bit of a fight over here as well. Drones were pulled away for a sec. And I think, yep. Now you can see that the multitasking is getting stressed a little bit, right? Cure is forced to deal with lots of stuff at home as well, and it makes him a little bit sloppier on the Marine drops. That being said, I think the era for the Marine is coming to an end, man. Yep. It's time for the Ghosts. Ghost Academy already done. There it is. He's also going heavy siege tanks right now. Liberator, siege tank, Ghost. Alright. Viper's coming up as a follow-up here too. Double Nidus network. So the man definitely wants to stick around in Nidus worms for a little while longer. There's quite a few Lurkers in them right now as well. Nidus networks, by the way, do share. So if you have units in one, they are all connected. Doesn't matter how many networks you have. They share the worm. All of it is, you know, it's very beautiful, okay? Looks like Cure somehow, some way found a chink in the armor right here. Trying to get some work done. He would love to get that hatchery, but that's a little bit overly ambitious. Although maybe he can come back for more a little while later. Worm in the back of the main. Hydras don't really have their upgrades yet, do they? No. Even though the Lurkers obviously oftentimes get tunneled across the map, apparently they can just walk there too. Not bad whatsoever. Yeah. Okay, well, really? Okay. Center base has been acquired by the Zerg player too. He's got a lot of ghosts, by the way. Going for the ghost cloaking ability now too. Nidus network. Popping up a worm in the bottom left. Those little changelings pretending to be Marines. Provide the vision that the Terran or that the Zerg player needs. Worm in the middle of the map too. Okay, we have mass Nidus worm. You can send those Lurkers all over the map very quickly. And when you are dropping one too many mules, it can be very difficult to actually keep detection of that going. Obviously, when the Lurkers are on the other side, though, it does mean that these Banelings are going to be super critical. Once again, beautiful, beautiful move right there by Cure. It's so easy to accidentally lose everything. Parasitic Bomb right there on those Liberators. He's going to be able to unsiege those, but still kind of stack them up together. Hello. 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 Well, luckily for them, they have, I believe, 150 hit points, meaning that they can stay alive for a little while longer. Worm once again goes up in the main base, but this time around, the siege tank is ready to go. Second Nidus Worm in the bottom left. Allows you to pop the units out at twice as much speed, so that's good. Cure looks absolutely terrifying. Ay, this is some of the best Terran gameplay I've seen. Now, it's easy to drop the ball against this sort of army, though. Okay, Parasitic Bomb right here on the Medivacs inside of the main base, too. Don't think that these Marines are going to be able to make their way home. Planetary Fortress also got blown up right there by the Hydras and the Lurkers. There's a nuke coming up. Alright. Viper gets killed right there by a small little Marine hit squad. Hatchery apparently also ended up falling. Jeez, all of a sudden there's action all over the map. But once again, yeah, the Lurkers... Did he get most of the Hydra army out? I guess he did. Okay, I was gonna say. The Lurkers, if they got picked off, that would have been an absolute disaster. Well, you know what? They did. Okay, he had like 9 Lurkers previously, and they were all killed. Hatch in the top right, apparently also not doing so hot. Hydra's just simply, though, walking through the liberation zones. Some of them have to pay for that with their lives. Obviously, 5 Hatch eco is... Or, sorry, 5 CC eco is good here. New planetary is coming up. But Cure doesn't have that much money here. Yeah, as a matter of fact, it's really only down to these 2 expansions. 16 additional Lurkers are coming up here for Cure. Or for Rogue. A little bit of target firing right there with the Hydras. They decide to burrow, forcing another scan. It's the little things, man. Scans are really helpful. Could have been a mule. Ooh. Think that this is a nuke. Yep. That's a ghost with a mission. Sending a tactical nuke across the map. Already, though, Rogue has found the red dot within a second. He even found the ghost. Couple of Zerglings have to pay for this, but the ghost goes down. Plus, obviously, nukes aren't free! Oh my god! Alright. Yeah, you guys are right. Zerg versus Terran is a fantastic matchup. What I like about Zerg versus Terran is that it's pretty much always the better player that wins, right? This may sound obvious, but like, it doesn't always feel that way in the other matchups. It's like, oh, you made one little error? Ah, too bad. I mean, obviously that still is the better player winning, but... There's room for error in ZVT. But you really have to be consistent and fast and clever and, you know, more attractive than your opponent. Wait, I don't know about that last one, actually. Okay. There's so many ghosts. So many lurkers, too, though. Double Nidus inside of the main base. This Nidus Worm is popped right next to the siege tank. Siege tanks cannot actually fire when they are... they have like a minimum range that they need to shoot at, so this one will not live to tell this tale, assuming that a couple units will pop out. There you go. Burrow! There you go. That siege tank is gone. And now all of a sudden, he's on top of all of the production of the Terran player. This is actually really, really tricky for the Terran player to clean up. Oh, he's gonna jump into the main base. Try and go up the ramp. Yeah, that's not gonna happen against Lurkers. Siege tanks on the back, though, of the natural expansion as well. Couple of Liberators up in the air. 13 SCVs end up going down. Lurkers apparently can also hit down towards the low ground, right? A couple of Zerglings here biting their way through whatever they can. And even a Rogue was kind of on the ropes here a minute ago. Right now, it's looking much better for him. I mean, he doesn't have a bank. He doesn't have that much mining either. As you can see, his expos are running out. Wouldn't mind seeing him take the center one. But finally, he's getting the Lurkers inside of the location that he wants them to. Because at this point, there's not that much scan energy remaining either. He needs to get rid of these Lurkers somehow, some way. Now, I've said it a million times before. What about a Raven? Terran players, why do you hate Ravens? Anyway. One day, bro. One day, I'm gonna cast Terran versus Zerg games. Lurkers will be made, and at that point, by the time the first Lurker is out, there's already gonna be 2 Ravens. That's gonna happen one day, but apparently that day is not today. We'll just keep scanning 17 times over. And eventually we'll get rid of the Lurkers. It does bother me a little bit, though. Dude, look at how much damage these Lurkers are getting done, though. Like, basically, the entire production here from Cure has been denied for a good couple minutes. That was a lot of Lurkers going down. But it's not like, you know, it's not like Rogue was just sitting still. Now, resource lost-wise, though, this is still a fantastic game here for Cure. It's just that this aggression is not done. Rogue is ready to pile on the pressure. And he's not even a Protoss player. Haha! Pile on the pressure. Okay, sorry. Sorry. Okay, I don't think that's gonna happen. Even though the planetary is very low. Yep. A lot of Zerglings over here, though, trying to surround whatever they can. There is a big bio bowl. It was heading on over towards the Lurkers. And right now, Cure is actually starting to fall apart a little bit. He's moving around with a massive hit squad of units, rather than, like, multiple little armies. And I think against multiple little armies... Oh my god. Once again, utilizing Burrow. I mean, I shouted for Burrow to be researched for about 3 years as well, okay? Now we're to the point where Burrow is being researched almost every single game. I mean, maybe if I keep shouting about... not that I have that kind of influence, by the way. Like, I'm not really that good. But maybe if I keep shouting about Ravens, at some point, we'll see players making them. And then I'll take credit for it, even though I had absolutely nothing to do with it. Still though, we're only at 35 SCVs right now, but 123 army supply. Rogue is at 94. Rogue's army is actually not that good. I mean, it's good, but like, especially when you give up units like this, we are still at a huge Terran army. Apparently, Zerg, though, decides to flank this army before it can heal back up right there with the help of those medivacs. Liberators get killed. Yeah, it's mostly Marauders at this point that remain. And Ling Bane Hydra is going to be fantastic against that army. Game number 2 goes in favor of the Zerg. Alrighty. So that brings us to Blackburn. Overall, though, I gotta say, I'm more impressed by Kira in this series. The man seems to be extremely on point. He just dropped the ball for about a minute. The Lurkers came into the main base and he didn't have a clean way of getting rid of them. I mean, it's hard to do so, right? Because you also need to make sure you defend your outer bases. Rogue, I mean, he lost a little bit here and there, but he never really took critical amounts of damage, right? So, like, overall, I would say Cure played a little bit cleaner. But Rogue never really lost more than, like, 5% of his stuff at a time, right? So, yeah. Cure didn't take any damage for the majority of that game, and then all of a sudden he lost, like, 50%. It's like, okay, well, that's something that's very hard to come back from. Also, by the way, worth noting, I think that Cure was completely... Or, sorry, Rogue was completely fine. Not really... dealing any damage in the early to mid game. Like, he went for, like, what was that? Like an 8.5 minute hive and Lurker then? And he was just simply defending. Taking the entire, yeah, beating in the early game. Just aiming for the late game right from the start. Interesting. Ooh. You're going for the double barracks. So, Rogue is looking around for proxies. I mean, this isn't really a proxy. It's just the second barracks inside of the main base. Ovi is gonna come up here. It's not gonna spot this. If he checks this base out, that would be really nice. Ooh. Nah, it's not gonna be spotted. Doesn't really matter all too much. It's gonna be 2 Reapers pumped out at once. So basically what Cure is looking to do is to pop out a Reaper over here, rally it towards the other side, and then straight into the main base through the slowing circle in the back of the main of the Zerg. The same for this other barracks. So Rogue at this point will see 1 Reaper. This is actually a really wonderful little Overlord spot. He's gonna see everything. Yeah, right now he's gonna be like, wait a second. Well, almost anyway. He's gonna be like, wait a second. That is too quick. I mean, does he pick up on that? Like, I wouldn't. But he probably does, right? Maybe not. Maybe not. So it is already 2 Reapers. Normally we don't go 2 Reapers. That's 1 drone, by the way. It's gonna be quite a few more than that, too. I say that. It's just gonna be 4, I guess, in total. 4? Yeah. Reactor is a follow-up. I guess Factory is a follow-up, too. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe you could go Tech Lab on this one and go into Stimpack. Either way, second command center is currently building. Yeah, so once again, we have that very quick 3rd hatch opener right here from Rogue, but a very late Zergling speed. So it's going to be quite difficult to defend this. Not until Link speed is done is when Rogue can properly defend this. Yeah, so far, beautiful control right here on these Reapers. Can he get the Queen? He will. Okay, he lost high ground vision there for a second. So 1 Reaper goes down. But I would say that Reaper has paid for itself, huh? It's not bad. Obviously, you gotta take into account the cost of the barracks there, too. Yeah, he does decide to go for a a tech lab on it. Alright. So he's backing off right now, knowing that link speed should be done soon. Losing all of those units for free and then being forced to deal with the counter-attack can be a little bit annoying. As you can see, there's really not that much here for the Terran player. Third CC starts up inside of the main base. I guess it's going to be a reactor on the factory and then a starport. Yep. So you do the big switcheroo. Bump out 2 medevacs at once. Stimpack. Into combat shield. Into 16 marines. Into other side of the map. Into gunning down whatever you can. Hell yeah. So with a double barracks opener, a marine drop is the most common follow-up. The question right now for Rogue is how many workers can you make before you go back to unit production? Normally the top level Zerg players are very good at that. So they're very, very good at squeezing out a ton of workers. He decides to go for the Roach Warren, okay. I think either a Baling Nest or a Roach Warren is fine. Apparently on Blackburn, at least in this particular game, Rogue wants to go for the Roach Warren. Fair. Scouting around, making sure there's no cheekiness here. Larina also comes up. Is he gonna go Spores? I feel like... maybe against this sort of start, you don't need Spore Crawlers, but, like, I would still be a bit scared. Yeah. Nah, I guess not. I guess at a double with a double barrack start, there's not gonna be a transition towards Banshees very often. Well, he still goes for a Spore. Okay. Yeah. Now, I was gonna say, like, it makes some sense, right? For the Terran player to try and outsmart you. Like, even though it's kind of off the beaten path and off of the tech path when you go for that sort of start to transition towards a Banshee. A Liberator could still happen, I guess, as well. So having that one Spore is helpful. It's the most likely location, anyway, where the Terran player would attack. So, here comes the Terran army. A couple of Hellbats available as well. Rogue decided to go for the Roaches, though, and the Roaches are going to be just fine together with the Queens. Yeah, should be more than okay. There's only one medevac here. So once Stimpack runs out, this is going to be an expensive army. To, like, stim. There's not that much healing here going on. So already, even though there's still some aggression on his front door, Rogue is already making drones again. Liberator. What in the world? So he uprooted the Spore Crawler to put it in the most random location ever, in my opinion, and apparently it worked. That's kind of funny, isn't it? Now, this is a good spot, though. This is a really good spot for that Liberator. Yeah, the Roaches are going to have a hard time reinforcing over here. He made drones, and he's got a bunch of units here, but, like... that Spore Crawler, man. Bring the Spore Crawler down, please. I feel like that Spore is absolutely critical down here. Yeah, okay, he does have a Spore. In the third base as well, but this is now actually working out way better than it should. Okay, he decided to go for Corrosive Biles there instead. Roach speed is going to finish soon. +1. Did he already get +1 missile? No, he didn't. Rogue actually forgetting the +1 missile upgrade right there, or just not being able to afford it. In the meantime, Cure has secured third base. Yeah, there's +1 missile. Okay. So I guess he was just delaying it. He's already got the third command center right now coming. Double upgrades for him. Or he's already got it mining, rather. And there's the additional production. So barracks 3, 4, and 5. 2 tech labs, 1 reactor. It's gonna be a nice Marauder-heavy army, eh? I don't mind it. 3 Marauders, 4 Marines at once. Couple medevacs into the mix. Siege tanks. Juicy game so far for Cure. Love the way he's playing this series. Really? Really? Okay. So Rogue is going for an all-in. I mean, he's gone for the gold base. So maybe it's not super all-in-y, but I feel like this gold base is almost like a distraction. Like, hey, I'm playing macro. Because he's really only making army. He's going 5 overlords. There's no way. You only make 5 overlords at this point in the game if you go for, like, a lot of stuff. So he's going for the Tunneling Claws upgrade too. He's gone for the burrow research. There's no creep over at the front of the base. I've got a feeling that even though he queues up a couple drones, I mean, he needs to get some sort of work done. The Nidus Worm did get spotted, by the way, right? Yeah. He saw the Nidus network. Here's Alpha Squadron right here going into the main base. Oh, you know what? Could still just hit the front. Oh, shit. Oh, well, I say that, right? You theoretically can hit the front. But the Sim City here from Cure is fantastic. Once Siege Tank goes into the main base... Oh, no, actually. No, he's not. He hears the roaches, and he sees a couple of them as well. He was thinking about putting them in the main base. Apparently, reinforcements are going to be able to arrive here a little bit faster. Tunneling clause is done, so he can tunnel the roaches on the... Well, it's almost done, rather. He can tunnel the roaches underground. Problem is, though, is that really going to help? Like, there is detection here. There's obviously scans available, too. Like, the model of the roach changes as well when it finishes up the upgrades. You see the spines that just grew out of their bodies. Makes it a little bit easier for the Terran player to figure out what's going on. I feel like there's enough bio army here to pull back or push back these roaches. The siege tanks liberators aren't even really necessary. Rogue, my man, I feel like this push is 2 minutes late. He's like, well, you know what? I'll make the gold base and I got some eco going. You know, he actually does have a good eco, all things considered. Hydro Den coming up, Lurker Den coming up. Rogue is looking to transition towards, I think, Lurkers once again. I think. It's gonna be a hard transition to make, though. Yeah, so normally this kind of pushes work really well if Terran's stuck at like 130 supply. But like, Cure isn't. Look at the amount of siege tanks as well. There's 6 tanks. Beautiful dodges, other than that one marine over there. Siege tanks in the back shelling away. Jeez. This army is getting smacked. The thing is, Zerg's gonna follow this up with like more roaches and ravages, right? And these traits are all so good. Well, I mean, unless he can grab all of the siege tanks. If he can get the tanks, that would be really nice. Good dodges once again on those biles. If we look at resources lost, and you gotta keep in mind, in this game, it's not like Zerg is significantly ahead economically, right? Yeah. It's kind of expensive. Cure needs to be careful, though. Man, he's really good at dodging biles. Oh my god. It's like he's a ZVZ player. Siege tanks can definitely hit that mineral line from the back, by the way. Rogue thinking about going for the counterattack rather than engaging that army. 4th Command Center is getting, I guess, planetaried up. Marines and Marauders going after the base in the top right. Gold base in a lot of trouble. At this point, though, there's really not that much at home to defend. Terrans, last time I checked, don't have a recall button, so they can't really get these siege tanks home. And I feel like that's where they need to be. That being said, there's still some Marines and Marauders here. A couple of Medivacs trying to get some work done as well. Terran is at decent amounts of upgrades. Zerg actually is just about to finish up +2 missile. Gold base is gone. Top right-hand corner is gone too. That means that now Zerg starts long distance mining one of the outer bases. Okay. Command centers right here are lifted, so it's now 2cc Terran effectively mining. Rogue is gonna have to address this main army, and that main army is still 8 siege tanks big. Hatchery goes down. New hatchery was acquired. Kyoto sending in the reinforcements. Drops them on top of that newly acquired base. If he targets it, it's going to be gone in a second. Although this time around he does take a couple of corrosive piles to the face, but also does kill the hatch. Goes for the natural expo right now. Drops a couple units. Goes back around. Cure is macroing, right? So he's gonna get 3-3 here eventually. And once 3-3 finishes, this Roach Ravager army is gonna get smacked. Like, it's already getting smacked right now, but it's even worse with 3-3. I mean, Zerg can't go 3-3 until, you know, he goes Hive, and then I don't think he can afford it. Okay, a couple of Roaches and Ravagers trying to go in for the counterattack. Planetary Fortress just about to finish up. There it is. That shows, or it shouts, "Get off my lawn." Desperate times right here for Rogue. He's trying to make the best of it. Long distance mining the 4th expansion. Well, normally this would be the 4th anyway. I guess in this game he decided to go for the gold as his 4th. Those siege tanks are still there. One set of corrosive balls does land. GG is cold though. As Rogue realizes that there is absolutely zero way to win. At this point, Cure is ahead economically. He's ahead army-wise. He's ahead upgrades. He's ahead, like, he's ahead in every way. There's really no way at this level of play that Rogue is going to be able to make a comeback. I hope you enjoyed watching today's series. If you did, hit that like button down below. And if you want to see more, you know what to do. Hit that subscribe button as well as the little bell icon right next to the subscribe button so you get notifications as soon as future videos go live. Today, I also want to give a special shout out to the Patreon supporters. Thank you very much for your generosity. But for now, thanks for watching. Have a great day. Don't forget to smile. And I'll see you once again in the next one.